Hello and good morning. We will begin seated for a short meditation. Whether you want to sit in a chair or the floor, finding a comfortable way to be in your space up on your sit bones. Finding your sit bones sitting up, placing your hands maybe on your thighs, your knees, or anywhere that feels comfortable for your shoulders, and closing your eyes, allowing yourself a few moments to fidget or wiggle or do whatever you've got to do to get comfortable. Take a slow, deep inhale and a long exhale. Beginning to let go of everything off your yoga mat. Slowly coming into your body, into your space. Breathing in and out. You may notice your hips or your sit bones resting down on the chair or space. You may observe your lungs as you breathe without feeling the need to change anything, just observing how does the breath feel? How are your shoulders and your neck? You may connect with the Hara center, 2 inches below the belly button, or if you have a different center, just simply starting to strengthen your connection. Observe the belly button area. And as we are in spring, you may reconnect with your intention or aim if you set a goal for the season. If you'd like to set a goal for just today, that's fine. Inhaling the arms up to the sky. Hands come together, bend the elbows, draw the hands down in front of the heart center. Eyes may be closed, spine is long and tall. Firmly pressing the hands together, feeling your physical center. And I invite you to acknowledge yourself for showing up today, and that not everybody shows up every time. So congratulations. Namaste, welcome. Coming into abdominal compressions, we're going to detox our gallbladder and our liver today. So whether you're going to sit in a chair or interlaced on the floor is fine. If it's available to come to sitting on the top of the feet, you can wrap your feet behind you and come to sit on the top of the feet. Hands come onto the thighs. If this is too much, sometimes people will just be kneeling. Once we're here, we'll go into the breath work and the abdominal compressions. Please do not do anything if you have sharp shooting pains in your stomach area or anywhere. Just stop if you get sharp shooting pains. I invite you to inhale, coming up onto the knees, opening the arms up for victory arms, fill the lungs. On your exhale, cross your arms over the small of your stomach and forward fold, exhaling all the air out, 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 out. Inhaling to lift up, arms open into victory arms, fill the lungs. Exhaling, opposite arm crosses over the small of the belly, and we forward fold. Inhaling up, opening up, lifting up, reaching up. Exhaling, crossing the arms and compressing the abdominal area. Doing a few more at your own breath. Next time you find your arms opening up for victory arms, you may simply pause, slide the shoulder blades down the back, lift up the sternum. You may open the throat. Let's take a deep inhale for victory. And then letting the arms and the head come back to neutral, we find a comfortable seat. Coming up to standing to get into the calf stretch. If it's available to come up to standing in a vertical sense, we want to try to ramp the head back over the shoulders, get the shoulders back over your hips. And for some people, it might be trying to come up with only one arm. So using an arm to come up. Other people can come up with no arms, where we try to stay vertical and stacked and make our way to standing. However, it's just a really quick core strength building exercise. Coming to the left foot for the calf stretch, please get your dome. Lining up the outside of the left foot on your dome. Heel down, foot facing forwards. Free foot is somewhere that supports a gentle stretch on the left leg or calf. Pelvis neutral, head and shoulders are back. Once we're here, let's warm up our hands. You may rub your hands together and start to get a little bit of heat. Breathe in. And then using the heat of your hands to warm up the neck. Sometimes people will cut behind where the head meets the neck. And I like to come right down to the top of the shoulder where the neck and the shoulder meet. And as we have the hands warming up the neck and the shoulder area, option to have the elbow come up, the head turns to a side, drop your elbow, turn the head to the opposite side, and knowing that smiling is always available. And gently letting your hands come down. Let's interlace the fingers, flip the palms of the hands forwards, slide the shoulder blades down the back, gently bend the elbows, reach the thumbs away like goalposts. Fingers are pressing into the back of the hands, aiming for flat hands. Keeping the ribs down, option to extend the arms up. Ribs are down, shoulders are down. Breathe in. Letting the hands go. And we can circle the wrist a few times. Sometimes the wrist will sound like, snap, crackle, pop. That's okay as long as there's no pain. And letting it go. Head is all the way back over the shoulders. Shoulders are slid down the back neutral. Turn to one side, look over your shoulder, chin is slightly down, and option to turn to look behind you. We will be stretching our eyeballs today. I invite you to have the eyes open or closed and try to stretch your eyeballs to look right behind you. Breathe in. Exhaling to untwist back to center. Opposite side. Turn to look over your shoulder, tuck your chin, and reach the crown of the head up. An option, if you can, to turn to look behind you. And then stretch your eyeballs by looking as far as you can behind you. Breathe in. Exhaling to unwind back to center. Coming off the dome and switching feet. Ooh, my big toe feels weird. A good weird. Getting the outside of the foot facing forwards, the heel down. Locating the free foot. Where might you place the free foot to find an appropriate stretch on the right leg? If your body cannot stay vertical, you've gone too far. If you cannot breathe deeply, you've gone too far. So we ease off. We find the appropriate edge. We take a slow, deep inhale. And allow the calf to get a little bit more of a stretch, coming into the side of the neck. So the gallbladder Meridian starts in the eyes. It goes around the eyes, down behind the ears, and then it zigzags the side of the neck and the top of the shoulders. So we want to get into this whole area. I invite you to drop your chin down. Eyes are open for balance. If you need to hold something, that's fine. Roll the head over to the left shoulder. Rotate the right hand to face up for the waiter. Right elbow is bent, but reach the elbow away. So we're looking to rotate the humerus bone open and then reaching the elbow away and maybe rotating the humerus bone back, rotating the arm back. You start to locate some kind of stretch, either in the chest, the shoulder, the throat, the neck, the chest. And notice if you cannot smile, you may have gone too much and we ease off. One more inhale. Letting the arm droop down, rolling the head back to center, rock the head over to the opposite side, right side, opposite arm reaches out. So if the head is on one side, it is the other arm we're stretching. My head's on the right, the left arm's reaching out. Elbow stays bent to isolate the most important area. We want to detox the lymphatic system in the shoulder joint. We want to create a tensile load for longer lasting change in the neck and the lung area. So keep your elbow bent and reach it away. And then option to rotate, you could even kind of reach the elbow forwards a bit to really get deep in that joint. And I always check my small muscles because it seriously pulls a serious face on me. It's a good thing there's no grammar test for yoga teachers. Let's take a deep breath in. Rolling the head down the center. The arm may rest down. Let's free our leg. You can kick the calf stretch aside. We're done with it, so please place it somewhere where you're not going to trip on it. Coming into a half sun salutation, I invite you to get your feet facing forwards in Mountain Tadasana and finding a space where you can open your arms into that T. Standing tall in your mountain, inhale to reach the arms up. You may look up. Exhale, forward fold, bend into your knees. Forward fold wherever feels appropriate. Inhale for a half lift to hold. Hands come to the front of the thighs. Tuck the chin and try to create a really long spine. Breathe in. Exhale, bend into the knees, forward fold. Inhale, reach the arms up to the ceiling, lifting up, looking up, reaching up. Arms come down by the side. It is very nice to do this with a chair out front, if that makes sense for you. Inhale to reach the arms up. Exhale to forward fold. You may hold the chair, bend into the knees, rest the head, or simply forward fold. Inhale for the half lift. Whether you're going to hold the chair or your thighs or shins, tuck your chin and create the longest spine you can get. Flat back, breathe in. Exhale, forward fold, soften the spine down. Inhale to reach the ceiling, lifting up, looking up, reaching up. Arms come down by the side. Last time, inhale, fill the lungs, look up. Exhale, bend the knees, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, hands come to the front of the legs, slide the shoulders down the back, nice long spine. Exhale, bend into the knees, forward fold. Inhale, reach the ceiling, lifting up, looking up, reaching up. Rest the arms down. Coming to detox our hips, I'm going to invite you to get your feet wide, if you can, facing forwards. Legs are straight, knees are straight. Hands may be on the hips or the back, and we'll circle the pelvis, moving your hips around in a circle. If you've had a hip replacement, you explore gentle and slowly and just make sure that you're doing something that feels appropriate. And for some people, they like to do really big circles where they're extending the hamstrings and they reach the whole front body open. There is no wrong place to feel this. As long as there's no pain, you're in a good spot. Let's pause and switch directions. Maintaining a smooth breath. And slowly spiraling back up to center. Arms rest down by the side, coming to stretch open our side body. Whether you're gonna have a chair for the right hand or you're gonna catch your right hip, inhale the left arm up. Inhale up and over to the right. Exhale to the ceiling. Inhale up and over, side bend. Exhale to the ceiling. Inhale up and over. Exhale to the ceiling. Last one to inhale up and over. Exhale to the ceiling. And coming for a longer side bend, whether you're going to keep your hand on the chair or the hip. Inhale up and over to bend to the right. Once you find a spot you can commit to, some people will reach their bottom arm down, as long as you're not putting really hard pressure on your knee. And if that's where your head's going to go, we're going to take at least 2 more slow breaths, finding a spot for the head where the neck doesn't feel cramped. Top arm may cup the head. Inhale to lift up, activate the neck. Arms come down. Catching either your chair or your left hip, inhale the right arm to the ceiling. Shoulder is completely slid down the back and stable. Breathe in. Exhale, bend to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the side. Inhale to center. 2 more. Last one. Coming for the longer side bend, you may simply hold your chair or your hip, reaching over to bend to the left. Deciding if looking down towards the left foot or floor feels better for your neck. You may be looking straight ahead with a neutral neck or up towards the ceiling. One more inhale. Top arm may cup the head and help the neck. Inhaling up, up, up. Arm comes down and letting it go, shaking it out. We'll translate the hips and then come into a double balance. Feet may be pelvis width or a little bit wider. Hands come onto the hips. To translate the hips, I mean we're going to shift our hips left to right. So you can put your hands right on the top hip bones. And we're trying to press one hip bone down and the other hip bone down. Now this looks very different on men than women, but it is the same idea. Where the femur bone, where the leg bone meets the pelvis, the hip on the side where the dimple is, we're trying to squeeze and compress that area and then compressing the other side. If you're feeling your toes death gripping or your knees locking or your kneecaps are squeezed up, push your hips back. It's almost like pushing your bum back. Lift and wiggle your toes and continue the lateral of the translating the hips. Usually there's a little bit of a pinch on the side. You may feel stiff after this because it is quite a deep movement. And then the cheat is that the shoulders want to wiggle left to right. So can you keep your shoulders very still and have all of the movement in the side of your hip? The final thing is, can you breathe? Coming back to center, shaking it out and letting it go. Okay, so the gallbladder is on the side of our body. It comes down the side of our ribs and our hips. And oftentimes people have a favorite hip they hang out on, especially if you've got to carry something heavy like a baby. They might be hanging out on a hip. And what ends up happening is we have a favorite hip we hang out on for decades, 60 years. And then one day the hip says no, and we fall and break a hip. So we want to try to get into the habit of standing with our pelvis neutral, which means that both hips are level. Instead of one hip a little bit higher and the other hip down. Sometimes people drive like this. I think it's called like pimping their ride. So ideally the hips are level. We will be doing tree, which is a balanced yoga pose that oftentimes people will hang out on the joint, lean, and hope not to fall. Today we will try to engage the lateral hip, pushing the hip down and using our muscles to pull our bones instead of hanging on a joint, if that makes sense. We'll begin on that right leg. Please get the right foot big. You can open up your toes, fan your toes wide, get the foot big. All four corners of the right foot are on the floor. You can have that chair handy. Please don't do anything that would cause you to fall and hurt yourself. Left knee is straight. And I like to push my hip out to the side and hang out on it, and then pull it in to start to find the muscles that I need to engage to stabilize it. So you can always sort of hip check your hip out to the side and then pull it in over your foot so your leg bones are vertical. Hands come into the heart, whether you're going to hold your chair, do one arm or both arms. And then the left foot can come along the inner ankle or inner leg. Notice if you're hanging a lot on the hip, and can you try to stabilize the right hip into the center and down to the floor. If it's easy, the left foot could draw up on the inner leg somewhere. Nice slow breath. Cramps are normal. And whether you're doing one arm or both arms, we may reach the arms. And find a slow, steady breath. Slowly coming out and letting it go. So I had done the hip hangout and like rushing into my balance for decades, and my balance never got better. But once I started exploring that muscle and how to use the muscles to leverage the bones stable, I became balance is much easier. Just simply trying to figure out how do I squeeze the muscles on the side of my hip to stabilize all the bones in my body. Coming to the left side, I invite you to open up your toes wide. Get all four corners of your left foot firm on the floor. The knee is straight to force the hip to work. Straighten your knee if you can. You can always have that chair handy. If it's available, hands come to prayer and body is tall. As you start to squeeze into the left hip and trying to squeeze, you can even imagine you're sort of squeezing your bum down to the heel of the floor. Option for the right foot to come. Big toe can be on the floor. Foot can slide up the inner leg somewhere. Notice if you're hanging on your hip, can you stabilize, squeeze the side of your hip? If it makes sense, draw the arms up. Nice tall tree. Slow, steady breath. Gently coming out, shaking it out, and letting it go. Excellent. How about we do another balance that oftentimes people really like, dancer? We can always hold on to our chair and get into the front of the hip flexor to stretch open, or you may choose to take the full dancer. We'll balance on the left foot. Actually, we need to do the right foot first. We'll balance on the right foot and then just reach your left foot back so we scissor the legs apart. So if coming into a full balance off the floor is difficult, you may just simply start to stretch into your hip flexor, reach your pubic symphysis forwards and bend into your knees to find maybe a stretch on the right knee along the top of the quadricep or the hip flexor. So if that's making sense for you, you may be doing that. Otherwise, the straight leg we plan to balance on, we're going to bend into the right or the left foot. Oh, I'm getting the left and right foot left. Reach for your ankle or foot Try to get out of a back bend by hugging your ribs down. Press your knee back. And if and when you feel stable, you may reach your left arm up. Slow, steady breath. Finding maybe the front of the hip flexor, the front of the quadriceps, or just finding stability. If you want to take a full dancer and you want to reach forwards or doing any kind of shape that feels good right now, coming back to center and letting it go. So switching sides, whatever side you balanced on, switch your balance foot. Option to reach the back, the one leg back, and just get into a really good opening and a stretch. Right, so we scissor the legs, we bend into the knee, and we reach the pubic symphysis forwards, and we find that really good stretch. The body is vertical to maintain core strength. And if it makes sense to start the balance, shift the weight onto the front leg, bend the back leg, try to reach for the foot or ankle. Once you've got it, drop your ribs. Press the knee back. An option to reach the free arm up. Slow inhale. You may find your Hatha center at the belly button. More slow breath. If you want the full extension or do something that feels really good, taking the time now. Coming out. Now, whether you're going to come to the floor or the chair, we will make our way back down to a comfortable seat, please. If you can stay vertical and we lower down onto the floor or the chair, attempting to be vertical. Just trying to get a little bit of a muscle memory there. If you're on the floor, I invite you to lay down on your back, hug your knees into your chest, roll up like a ball, hug your legs, and you may rock left to right to free up your back. If we're in the chair, we want to find the sit bones. You may inch to the edge of the chair, sitting up tall on the sit bones and having the feet comfortable on the floor. If you're on the floor, resting your feet to the floor, knees are bent, feet are on the floor for the number 4 stretch. I'll come down to the floor and show you. If we're in the chair, especially if we've had a hip replacement, please be gentle on the left leg. You may simply reach your left foot out and your left knee out, hands come to the knees, and forward fold to locate your left hip to stretch. If it makes sense to hold your chair, you may lean back and get your left ankle on the right ankle, shin, or up on the knee. From here, if it's easy, you lean forwards and make sure that the knee is not getting the stretch. The stretch should be in your back or hip. And pausing there. If we're on the floor, crossing the left ankle onto the right knee. This is very good for many people. If you can keep your shoulders and your neck relaxed on the floor, option to inhale the right leg up, hold on to the right thigh or shin. Locating the left hip to get a good stretch. Relaxing the shoulders and neck. Breathing deep to the belly button. Gently letting it go, uncrossing the ankle. And if you're on the floor, it can be nice to windshield wash or drop the knees left to right. And in the chair, just finding your comfortable center. Coming back to center, working on the right side. If you've had a hip replacement, whether you're laying on the floor or you're in the chair, you're gentle as an exploration. Right foot may come out to the right. If you're in the chair, hold your knees and lean forwards to locate the right hip to stretch open. Otherwise, hold the chair, lean back, and start to cross the ankle. If we're on the floor, we can inhale, start to cross the ankle over the left knee. Find a way to slowly explore that piriformis muscle, the pain in the butt muscle. Whether it's inhaling the left leg up into the chest and holding on, or if you're in that chair, leaning forwards. Slow inhale. As we detox the liver and gallbladder, oftentimes the dominant feeling is anger. It can be annoyance or frustration. Sometimes people will have pressure headaches behind their eyes. Observing if something is coming up. Breathing slowly. Trying to get into the habit of observing and letting go of judging yourself for whatever sensation or feeling is coming. Just noticing it, acknowledging it, and breathing. You may watch the hip stretch slowly soften as we hold and breathe. Maybe the shoulders and hands feel a little bit more soft. And if you're on the floor, you may let your legs go, coming back to center, uncrossing. If we're in the chair, we lean back and we let the legs come back to center. And on the floor, option to windshield wash the legs left to right. In the chair, just getting comfortable. Coming into a quick spinal twist to detox our abdominal aorta. So there's a big vein that runs from our heart down our belly. And this vein can get stiff. It can get, plaque and calcium and stuff build up. So we just want to rinse it out real quick. The twist comes between the pelvis and the rib cage. So mostly just around the belly button and organ area. We want to observe that to get the twist. If you're on the floor, scoot your hips to the left, out of the way, and let your knees start to drop down towards the right floor. You can throw a yoga block or a bolster or a pillow under the right hip so that your legs don't pull you too hard. If you have SI joint pain, hip pain, or any kind of pain, please use support under your leg or between your knees, like a big pillow, or come out because you don't want to make more pain. If we're in the chair, finding a comfortable seat, we draw the hands over to the right hip, twisting to look to the right from the belly button. Chin is slightly down. If it's really easy, you can twist to look behind you, pausing. Let's all breathe down to the belly button. Intending the organs in the belly button area to soften. On your next inhale, rolling back to the back, coming back to center. And if your hips are off to the side, shifting them back to center. Breathe in center. If you're on the floor, shifting the hips to the right, let your knees drop down to the left. please use a pillow or something between your knees if you have a side joint pain, sciatic pain, any kind of pain behind here or on your legs. If you're in the chair, holding onto that left hip, you can start to turn to the left, aiming for the belly area to get the twist, maybe looking behind you, avoiding kinking your neck, and taking a few slow breaths. Slowly untwisting, coming back to center. If your hips are over, bring them to center, breathe in center. And deciding which relaxation shape you would like. If you've got a bolster, you can always throw that under your knees and lay down on the floor. If you're in a chair, you may come all the way to the back of the chair and just let your back really lean and rest. Pillows behind your back on the chair is nice. Pillow under your head if you're laying on the floor. Finding a way to get comfortable. And then once you are comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes. Observe where your hands and arms are, placing them somewhere that feels free. If you're on the floor, palms of the hands face up, arms rest by your side. Starting to let go of conscious breathing, just breathing easy. Letting the muscles around your eyes relax as you slowly inhale. Making any fidgets you need to get more comfortable. Breathing easy. Allowing your legs and your feet to soften. Getting heavy, softening, and letting go. Allowing the hips to broaden and sink. Soft back, soft belly. Shoulders are broad and soft. Letting your elbows relax. Hands and fingers soften. Surrendering the weight of your body and letting the back of your head rest. Scanning the face. Letting muscles all around the face soften. Softening the forehead. Relaxing the corners of the eyes. Letting the cheekbones soften. Relaxing the jaw. Releasing the tongue. And letting go. Holding in silence for just over 30 more seconds. Slowly starting to deepen the breath, drawing gentle movements back to the feet and hands. If it makes sense to rock the head left to right or reach the head left to right. Coming back to center, stretching the arms above the head, take a good deep inhale, lengthen the side body up through the fingertips. If you're on the floor, bend the knees, turn to roll to the side, use your arms to press up and help you find a comfortable seat. And finding that comfortable seat, you may draw both your hands up on your sternum or covering your heart, eyes are closed, sitting up tall, breathing into your body, observing how you feel. Namaste. Thank you for coming out. Real quick, the homework, then I'll stop the recording. I invite you to just notice if you have a favorite hip to hang out on. And then either square off your hips, try to get in the habit of squaring off your hips, or switch hips so that you have a little bit more of a balance over years and years and years. And honestly, like I always hang out on my hip when I'm in the grocery store waiting in line, or I hang out on my cart, which is just as equally bad. So I'm going to invite you to notice when you're waiting in line or in general, if you have a favorite hip to hang out on, and it something that maybe you want to try to avoid. Thank you so much. Bye for now.